I take our public safety very seriously.
But what are you going to do about it?
What we're going to do is to continue to make the investments in our police service and to continue to work collaboratively with the federal government.
You're talking to me like I'm a child. Ezra Levant here for Rebel News. I'm in North Toronto outside a synagogue, Temple Emmanuel. You can see the police tape behind me, and there's still a number of police cars. There's also some media here. That's because in the wee hours of the night, the synagogue, which is just up the road there, was attacked with gunfire. And just hours earlier, the synagogue itself had been in use for a Jewish holiday called Purim. I would imagine that the terrorists who attacked this synagogue did so at the hour they did because they wanted to terrify the Jews. They wanted to show the new norm in Toronto, but they didn't actually want to kill anybody yet, because that would probably spark some greater reaction than the usual shrugging and "this isn't our Canada" that you get from our useless politicians. I say useless because I see some of their responses. Olivia Chow, the mayor of Toronto, as a rule avoids all Jewish events, doesn't want to be seen with the Jews, has done the electoral math that there are now more third world anti-Semites in Toronto that can vote for her than there are Jews who likely wouldn't vote for her. And that's a mathematics decision that both the provincial and federal governments have realized as well. The federal Minister of Public Safety, Gary Anandasangari, put out a useless tweet saying his thoughts are with the Jews. I don't actually believe that his thoughts are with the Jews. Gary himself has to recuse himself from various terrorism files as the Minister of Public Safety because before he was an MP, he was a lawyer for terrorist groups. Again, appointed for reasons of expat community vote banks, ethnic vote banks. That's really what's going on in Ontario now. Under Justin Trudeau's mass third world immigration, literally millions of people have come to Canada, many with an anti-Western antipathy, but many with a specific anti-Semitic antipathy. Even the provincial government, their cabinet minister, the Solicitor General, who's in charge of policing and prosecutions, his main function seems to be trotted out every once in a while and say, look, I'm Jewish myself. I even wear a yarmulke, so things can't be that bad. Okay, I'm not going to prosecute anyone for terrorism offenses. I'm not going to arrest anyone. I just want to control the Jews and tell them to stop complaining so much. Here's Michael Kerzner when I asked him about a previous synagogue shooting and why he never imposes the laws that exist against harassment, stalking, vandalism, assault, uttering threats. Even when they catch the bad guys, they don't charge them. If they charge them, they drop the charges. I asked Michael Kerzner why he doesn't, for example, use a section of the criminal code designed to stop people from stalking places of worship. Here's his pitiful answer.
I speak out all the time in support of our Jewish community. I'm not afraid to wear my kippah. I'm not afraid to go to synagogue every Sabbath, every Shabbat.
You've created a new normal where people can engage in low-level, permanent anti-Semitic crimes, assault, threats, mischief, because you guys don't prosecute. But there you are on Twitter, though, so congrats for that.
It's important that the Jewish community sees a person from their own community in the Ontario legislature standing up against hate every single day, who has the support of a premier who has called it out. Where are the other levels of government today who exercise the same voice that Premier Ford does, that we will not accept anti-Semitism?
You have accepted it. One day it will go beyond just terrorizing and terrifying the Jews to murdering them, as recently happened at Bondi Beach. You would think that by now there would be, I don't know, some police response, but police answer to a police chief, and the police chief answers to politicians, and so it goes. There's a synagogue not far from here that has literally been attacked 10 times. There's a Jewish school for girls that has been shot at 3 times, and yet there's no police presence there. I don't even think that there's a police camera there. I mean, that would be too much effort. And, you know, if they caught anyone, then they'd have to, deal with the fact that Canada has been transformed into an anti-Semitic playground, where we've had an anti-Semitic crime wave unlike anything we've ever seen in Canada. I remember not too long ago where a swastika was used by the government to discredit the trucker convoy. It was a false flag. It was shown very briefly. Only a Liberal Party photographer managed to spot it. And it was used to attempt to denormalize all the truckers as Nazis. It was ridiculous, but, that's how this Canadian establishment roles. As I was about to go, the minister I referred to earlier, Michael Kerzner, the Solicitor General, who I think his main job is to tell Jews, calm down, I'm wearing a yarmulke, shut up now. He came out of the synagogue and I managed to scrum him. It's almost like a caricature. Right on time, he said, well, what about the federal government? I'm not interested in the federal government. I'm interested in the level of government that has responsibility for the police and the prosecutors. That's the province of Ontario. And I asked him about that, and he immediately pivoted to, oh, well, we're having bail reform. What are you talking about? I'm talking about the fact that Hamas protesters walk through Jewish communities just like this one, residential communities, screaming and shouting at Jewish women and children.
Come over here. The pussies like one of women, right?
The guy just trying to come up to
like one of women, right?
What's up right here?
The police just watch and nod along. It was only a matter of moments before he said, well, I wear a yarmulke. Oh my God, take a look at this. Minister, we spoke last time about your refusal to prosecute many of the hate crimes and the other crimes, the violence, and you put it on the federal government. Will you be doing anything this time, or is it just more thoughts and prayers?
No, we were very, very clear. The federal government has brought forward certain pieces of legislation that I think are very important. We want to make sure. We want
But you
to
have all the laws already.
No,
you're doing it again. You're blaming the feds.
No.
Why don't you use the
We're
laws
working.
you already have?
No, we're working with the feds actually, and what we want to do, and as a result of the leadership of Premier Ford and our government, the federal government moved forward to toughen bail laws, and they toughened also the laws to define what a hate crime is.
But you're not
want to
even
see.
charging people. When people go marching through Jewish neighborhoods, you don't lay charges.
Listen, firstly, as a Solicitor General, I have a certain responsibility. I'm not the Attorney General. But what I can tell you is the safety of the Jewish community as a kippah-wearing Jew, as somebody that's proud to
You keep
reaffirm
saying
my
that
faith.
as if I'm supposed to pay attention to your
question.
yarmulke instead of what you're not doing.
No, what we are
People
is-
go hunting for Jews in your neighborhoods,
Yeah.
and you don't say
And you
anything
know
other
what?
than I'm wearing a yarmulke.
What I've said many times, and it's very clear, I take our public safety very seriously.
But what are you
And
gonna
I
do
can
about
point-
it?
What we're going to do is to continue to make the investments in our police service and to continue to work collaboratively with the federal government.
You're talking to me like I'm a child. Why haven't you laid charges?
Well, firstly, as the Solicitor General, that's not my
You set
domain
policy,
to do.
and you have refused to set policy
Well,
that you are
we're
allowing
gonna-
people of marching through Jewish neighborhoods,
Yep.
threatening,
And
harassing.
that's completely unacceptable.
Well, you've accepted it.
Well, I'm here today. I'm here right at
To
Temple
show off your
Emmanuel.
yarmulke. That's why you're here. You haven't
No.
changed a thing.
Well, that's your opinion. I have worked very
Tell me one
hard
thing
as
you've
a
done.
Solicitor General to put more boots on the ground, to fight crime, to send a message
Not
across
one arrest when they
Ontario.
walk through the Jewish neighborhoods.
Well,
Not one arrest.
Then my suggestion is you should direct your concern, because I have as well, to the federal Minister of Public
You're
Safety.
in charge of police in
to the-
Ontario.
Which I don't direct, and you know it.
You haven't set the policy. Your policy is to allow people to walk through Jewish residential neighborhoods screaming at them.
Absolutely
And now
not.
you want me to
don't-
talk to the federal liberals?
I can tell
Tell me
you
about
this.
your yarmulke again.
I can tell you this. There has never been a government that has ran on a platform, which we were elected for our third time last year, to protect Ontario. We're not going to stop.
You haven't done a
We're not
damn
gonna
thing for the
see-
Jews. You haven't done a damn thing
Well,
other than tell us you're
that's-
Jewish.
That's your opinion.
People still walk through the neighborhoods screaming at Jews, and you're fine with that.
Thank you. Last question. Thank you so much.
Well, it wasn't too long before his police shooed me away, and I said, look, just pretend I'm a Hamas protester and bring me some coffee and donuts. Pretend I'm with Hamas. Then you would bring me donuts and coffee, wouldn't you, big boy? You can bring me some donuts and coffee like you do for the Hamas types? It's quite something that the country that once called itself the most tolerant and the most human rights focused really doesn't give a damn when it's Jews being shot up. Today it's just broken glass and bullet holes and a lot of terror, but one day I fear it'll be much worse. I was in Israel a few weeks ago and I met with the minister in charge of diaspora affairs, that is, cabinet minister Amichai Chikli is his name, who's concerned about anti-Semitic violence around the world. And he has written to Gary Hernandez Angry saying that Canada is one of the worst cases in the world. Here's a copy of the letter that he sent. As far as I know, Gary Hernandez Angry has not written back. Chikli is deeply worried about Canada, especially Toronto and Montreal. I think that the Israeli Mossad may be briefing him, but I don't think you need a special spy agency to know what's going on. Another day, another shooting. I don't even think it'll make the front pages. A synagogue shot up. Welcome to Canada in 2026. For Rebel News, I'm Ezra Levant.